Hello, it's T with Teaquilts, and today is October 10th, 2020. It is 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're not already in the live room, just know that this is an upload of a live chat. And when you're communicating with us, you need to communicate in the comment section. There is no longer an active chat box available. So we're just waiting for people to come into the room. I am actually just drawing some lines on the back of some squares so that I can sew them onto a project. And we're just waiting for more people to actually come into the room. And then I will start going through who's in the chat room. So if you're new and want to shout out, just put your name, where you're from maybe, in the chat box, and I'll give you a shout out. We just got a few more seconds. Oh, it's actually 9 now. Mark this last one. All right. Let's see. We got Elaine Doucette was here at 8:49. She says, evening all from Northern Ontario, Canada. Susan T is here saying, hi T everyone. Awesome day today. Awesome day today. Beautiful here in Pennsylvania. That's 8:55. Also 8:55 is Robin Boyd. Good evening, Miss T and everyone. And 8:57, Carol Green says hi T and everyone. And then at 8:58, got a few people. Rose Swalls is here saying hello T and T Quilters. I am here for a few minutes at least. I hope I can do what I have to do and get back soon. Darcy Savelli is here, says hi T and all Quilters from Minneapolis. Or Minnesota. Wait a minute. Yeah. Stitch and Ditch says hi T. Hi and welcome to the channel. Diane 57 says hi everyone. If you all don't know by now, I just woke up like a few minutes ago. Gotta get my brain active. Linda Price is here saying hello everyone. Ellie Scrapper says greetings T and everyone. Claudette Bettis is also here saying hi T and everyone. Cherie Tropic Studio says hi T and everyone. Rose says what a beautiful day here in Indiana too. Sonia Jones is here. She says hi T and everyone. Cynthia Shade says good evening from Chicago. Hope all T Quilters are doing well. Kathy Klein is here. Says hi everyone from Central Illinois. And my brother Ray Mahone's here. Says hi sis and everyone. Stay safe and God bless you. Jackie K says hi T and friends. Nice to be joining you all after a beautiful day here. 74 degrees. Won't be seeing much more of these in Brantford, Ontario. Cheryl Clute says hello T and everyone. It rained all day here. Darcy says my machine pooped out on me yesterday and my husband tried to fix it and couldn't. After we talked a while, he went to the store and got a brother $13.50. Now that's awesome. Great support. My brother says you got my thumbs up, so that's a reminder if you haven't already to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Really appreciate it. Teresa McCormick says hello T and all. Veronica Williams says, good evening, quilters. Judy is here saying hi, T and everyone. Don Cunningham says, hello, T and fellow quilters. Getting rain from Hurricane Delta in South Carolina. Remember everyone in LA. Kevin the quilter is here. He says, see, I told you I would see you tonight, Miss T. Laughing out loud. Hey, T quilters. Kevin says, Miss Robin was just buying some fabric, laughing out loud. Cheryl Land says, hey, Kevin. Hey, T. Hey, quilt family. And Diane saying that she hit the thumbs up earlier. Thank you, Diane. And Rob is talking to Kevin. Darcy's also saying she's hit the thumbs up. Quilting for the Soul is here. She says, hello, T and everyone. Hey, Sarah. Welcome. Deanna J is here saying hi, all. Tiffany of Tiffany's Quilting's Life is here. She says, hi, T, and hi, friends. Lisa Pegg says, hi, Miss T and T Quilting family. Janet Mackerel says, good evening to all. Darcy says she would pray for all in LA. And Francesca is here. Afino, she says, hello, T and everyone. And Stitch in the Ditch saying she's hit the thumbs up, so thank you so much. So, yes. What are we working on today? The border. This is something else. But we're here because I didn't want to muck with this too much to start off. It's going to be a mess because I'm going to need, I'm sewing on borders today. And what I've already done, because remember, I'm also videotaping series for beginners to use. So I have already done some sewing on my borders. And I need to edit part 3 because part 3 kind of ran into part 4 because I still needed to get the quilt top piece. Last time I couldn't find a setting triangle, one of my quarter square triangles. And so I did find it after we went off the live, after I searched outside in my yard in the dark, thinking it had blown off the deck. But I did find it. It was in this room, had fallen behind the gold cutter that I have up here. From me cutting the pineapple quilts. I haven't moved the go cutter yet. So, yeah, I did find it. I got the entire quilt top piece once I found my setting triangle. And then I had to take a picture for part 3 just so that they could see how it all went together. So then once I did part 3, then I started the intro on part 4, which is the borders. So I had to do as much sewing as I could up to this point just so that they could see where I was going with these borders. So for you all you basically need to know right now is that I'm putting 2 borders on this quilt and I'm putting them on the left and right side. But before I sewed my first border, which is this one down, I added my outer border as well. So I've got my my side pieces have 2 pieces of fabric that I've sewn together. And now I'm going to sew those pieces onto this quilt top on the sides. So I just kind of folded it up so that I could keep it all nice and neat until I got ready to sew it with you guys. So just basically 2 pieces of fabric that I'm treating as one border piece right now. Whoops. Just knocked my phone off. See who else has come in. Francesca says, I so miss sewing with Scrap Club. Me too. I absolutely do too. People saying hello to everyone else, so I'm going to skip some of those. Look like Mary has come into the room. Ellie says, T, I got my package today. Thank you. I love it. You're so welcome. And I did turn in the orders for the wood products. I can't remember now how many I had, but it was at least 109, 110, somewhere around that area. I can't remember right now. So we did have quite a big order going in, and I'm just waiting for him to call and let me know when it's available. Cool Gal is here saying hi, T, and everyone. Hi and welcome. I'm just trying to skip some of the things where people are saying hello to each other. We also have Terry T here. She's saying I'm almost on time. Hello, everyone. So we're just going to stop right there, 9:08. And I'm going to go ahead and sew one of these sides. I got both of my sides pinned. And I pinned one because I wanted to show it in the video, because it's a beginner video, to show them how to pin your border on. And then I went ahead and just did the other side as well. I'm trying to move my pieces out the way. Don't want to grab them by mistake. All right. Now, a couple things I like about just initially sewing on this Bernina is that it sews faster than my baby lock, which I'm used to with my Singer. And also, it stops on a dime. When I tell it to stop, it stops. It doesn't take that additional stitch or two, which is nice. No matter how fast you're going, it just stops when you lift up. I got my pins far back. Since I'm left-handed, I put them in on the left side, and then I don't have to always take them out when I'm going down the stitch seam, because they're already far back from my pin. They're not right on the edge. Now this is my middle one. I did put that one on the edge. And sometimes I'll stop and take them out. Other times I'll just let them roll. Let's see. I think I got all the pins out. Okay. So one side is sewn. See who else has come into the room. Sheila Willis is here saying, hi everyone, Auntie. Hi Sheila. Francesca says, just curious, does anyone use the rollers you can get for doing binding? I don't know what rollers you're talking about personally. I have to know more information. This is Mary says, T, you don't lean on sewing table? Laughing out loud. Ellie says, T, your Bernina look like you are becoming a fan, laughing out loud. Yeah, I do like how it stopped. I noticed that the first time I actually started stitching with it. I was stitching fast, and I go, this thing, normally when you're stitching that kind of speed, you got another stitch or two, but it just stops. Kim Burris is here. Hi, Kim. She says, hi, everyone. I'm late getting here. Not much. Let's see. Mario Dennis is here, says hello from friendly Montreal. Welcome. Crystal Cochran is here. She says Interwoven Creations by Crystal. Hi, T and everyone. It's been a long minute since I've been live with y'all. I've been watching the replays lately. Thank you, Crystal. Welcome. The binding tool she's talking about at T. That's Mary helping. I don't think I've used the binding tool, and I guess because I just have such a way of doing it that it works. I guess I've just never thought about getting a gadget for it, so I have not. Let's go out here and let me look it up and see if I know what it is. Binding tool. You're not talking about the clover things, are you? Hold on, because I do have those, but I've never used them. I want to see images of binding tools. The binding tool that has like a diagonal slant angle. Let me see. That's going to take me into shopping. I don't want to do that. It took me straight into Amazon shopping instead of taking me to pictures. Okay. There's a couple of binding tools. It's got the slant angle on it. I know what you're talking about, but no, I have not used one. I even have something by Mortelli that's supposed to help you with binding that this lady gave me. And eventually I'll do like a review of it or something like that, but it just looks so complicated and so many pieces. It's like you just put the binding on there. What's the big deal? But okay, let me go back into the chat. Or she says, I have used jelly rolls for binding. I ordered one roll of black and they sent me 8. So I have used it to get rid of some of it. Got that right. Because most of the time they don't want you to send it back because they don't want to pay the shipping. I'm just cutting my fan up higher. When I cut on all these lights, I just start getting hot. Virgie says, hello, T and everyone. What's up? And Cam said that she worked too long on quilt blocks. And Virgie is asking Darcy, hey, where did you order from? So they can send her 8 for 1. That is funny. Cheryl Beans are saying good evening, T and everyone. Welcome, Cheryl. Francesca says the binding tool is different. Roller is a way to roll your binding up so you don't have binding everywhere while sewing it on. And see, I had some people asking me about that, but all I do, you can't see it over here, but the thread spool, when you can put your extra thread spool and have it sit up, when I put my binding up, I actually just wind my binding in a circle. Let me just show you on a piece here, but this would be a long piece of binding. And I just take my binding and I just roll it. And then I just keep rolling it. So if I've got 8, 9 strips, however I need for my quilt, I'll end up with a tube about this big. It doesn't get very, very big. And then I'll just keep rolling my whole binding strip. And then when I'm done, I just put a pin. I have some little applique pins, but I'm using a regular pin here, and I just stick this pin in the binding. And the reason why I do that is because once I finish a project, and say if I make a quilt top and I'm not going to get it quilted right away, I want to make sure that I can use, that I don't use that extra fabric I have for binding in another project. And then that way, if I have scraps left over, I can go ahead and cut them into strips or put them into my scrap container and know that I'm okay. Once I get it rolled like this, see, I don't have this stuff out anymore because on Bernina, it's on the machine. So let me see if I can find it. I put this stuff up. this, what you put on your machine, but on the Bernina, it just pulls up. It's already attached to the machine. So your extra thread spool, and then I just take this and I go right into the middle and stick this on my machine. So it's on my machine, and now I'm going to go ahead and take the pin out because I'm going to use it. And then I just pull it off like I would thread. So I'm trying, I can't hardly hold it, but it'll just come off as I'm stitching, and I pull down what I want to use, and it just rolls right off. This is what I use for binding, so I don't use any other binding tools because they already gave it to me with my sewing machine. So yeah, hopefully that's what you're talking about, Francesca. I just roll it up. And I know they got the tools where you can roll it, but I'm like, it don't take that long to roll up the binding. It's so I probably wouldn't be able to find the tool knowing me. So this one goes with my Elagio. Put that back in there. And these are my scrap bindings that I just sew scrap pieces together whenever I need a scrap binding for a quilt top. So let me go back to Francesca. I think that was the question. Ellie says, I think she's talking about the attachments that you put onto your machine. Yeah, because she's saying something with a roller. But anyway, that's how I do my binding. Let's see. June Hanson's here says, I have that and I was so confused. Do I have to learn by mistake how to do it my way and do it my way? So she says I had to learn by mistake and then do it my way. Tiffany says I used a template binding tool for making a binding tool star, but not for binding. Susan T says I have many tools that I have bought after watching demos at quilt shows that I have never used, laughing out loud. Need to go on the internet and watch videos. Right. It's like they make it so complicated when it's just so, it doesn't take all of that. If you know how to do it right, if you teach me to do it the regular way that quilters have been doing it for hundreds of years, it don't take all of that. It's not complicated. Darcy says, I wish I could remember. I think it was the place in Las Vegas. The Kim, oh, she's talking to Mary. And Susan says, me too, June, and didn't do things my way. Right. When Sprinter is here saying hello to you and everyone from Maryland. Don Cunningham says, I have the seam guide and stitch and ditch binding foot by Mortelli. It was helping keep the binding straight, but the hole in the plastic foot was shredding my thread. So, you know, it's one or the other. Something's going to happen. You got so many different steps and techniques that you still got room for error. And like I said, when people are at quilt shows or places where they're demoing all this stuff, remember, they've done that over 200-300 times. And so they're showing it to you, making it look so easy. But it's not going to be that easy for you the first time you're trying to do it. And maybe up to the 10th time you're trying to do it. Cherie's talking to Francesca, but she says, I thought about getting some binding rollers, but decided I could improvise with what I already had in the studio. The fancy ones are cute though. So she's talking about something that's rolling your binding, I think. Sharon Lewis says, hi T and quilters, and my phone is spooling. So I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem. But hi Sharon and welcome. Cheryl says, I am doing, oh, she's talking to Rose. Rose says, I fan fold my binding and put it down in a drawer and it works good. Tiffany says, I've used empty large spools to put binding on to keep it nice, but I prefer to just throw it all on the floor next to me. Sewing with the Dreams is here saying hello everyone. Terry is asking, Francesco, are you talking about the ones that come in the fat quarter sample box? Jackie says, I made my own binding dial for $5 in a couple hours. Was easy. And Virgie says, I use toilet tissue empty roll to wrap binding on, then sew it on quilt. So yeah, and the reason why I roll mine too is because when I'm putting it up and I have bindings for 20 quilts and I use like a little shoebox or something to store it in, then it's not all in there messy. It's nice and neat because everything is rolled. And then I just put a little, on a sticky note, I just put what that binding is for when I stick the pin through. So that's kind of how I do. I saw somebody else comment on the screen, but it hasn't come up here yet. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the other side of this border on. Ouch, just stuck myself. My screen is spooling really bad. I did not reboot my phone today. So let me do that because there's all kinds of comments coming in that I can't see. Big paragraphs. So I'm just going to restart my phone. Because I did not, like I normally do. Oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. This thing took me into a, I'm going to press number 1 again. I was on a different screen. I must have hit a screen somewhere. I don't know what it was asking me. Looked like it wanted to make some changes. I had never seen that screen before. It might have been the speed that the machine is sewing at. Let's see. Yeah, because it's sewing a little slower now. So I inadvertently hit that. Now, if I wanted to get in there, I got to futz around and find it, okay? So I'm sure it turned it down. But we won't worry about that. Let me put my password in here so we can start. So let's see. It was Virgie, I think I read last. The Confident Novice is here saying hello, hello, and welcome to the channel. And let's see. And Sarah says that she used a leg on her sewing machine table for her binding, so that's cool too. Cherie is asking, Francesca, I assume you were talking about the storage ones, but did you mean the roller that is made of wood that you rub the binding seam with? I am so confused. It's so many things that people are describing. And she's saying, hey, Terry, no, I saw rollers that was too cheap to spend money. And Diane was saying that she's not spooling. LaConte Middleton is here saying good evening. Francesca says like toilet tissue option. Thanks. So that's what she's talking about, something that you roll your binding on. And I think I have at some point saw ones that they had some kind of little handle thing where you can roll the binding onto there too. So that is pretty cool. But it doesn't take me too long to roll my binding. And I don't mind doing that while I'm watching television or something like that. Don says, I have some binding holders that look like old-fashioned clothespins with dowels painted faces, very cute, but were somewhat expensive, called binding babies. Diane says, T, did you say your phone turned your sewing machine down? Nope. I think something when I was getting stuff to show you all what I was talking about, maybe my binding strip came across it or something, but something hit the screen and changed it. but not my phone. It is not Bluetooth. Kevin says, I just wear the binding around my neck and then usually end up getting it wound around my arms and legs and everything else. And see, that's why I kind of took it off the floor, because then I moved my chair was on it, so I just kind of put it up here and I just pull off into on top of the quilt whatever amount I think I'm gonna need. And that's kind of how I do mine, and then it's all contained right up there, not on the floor, not down. But any kind of way that it works for you is fine, and it probably is cost-free. Cherie says, Clover has a wooden spool on a handle that freely rolls along. They were the ones I was talking about originally, the binding babies. Okay. Susan is laughing out loud at Kevin. All right. So, I'm trying to figure out, why do I hear this machine? I'm going to cut this off and cut it back on, because I don't know if I hear something else either. It does take a minute for these Berninas to come on. Virgie says, binding babies are cute. Why not make one with a wooden clothespin with a wooden ball on top? Come on, Slowpoke. And see, it came right back to this screen that it... I don't know what this screen is. And I don't even know how to get back to it. So I hit something, guys, in the settings or something. It must be, I don't know if it's the speed. Let me see. But it was humming before. It's not humming now. I turned the number down. I don't know if I should have or not, but I turned it down to where it wasn't humming. So I don't know what that was, but it has never hummed before. So I'll figure that out later. All I've been doing is straight stitching and machine embroidery, so I don't know a whole lot about the machine yet. But in true essence, that's mostly what I'm going to be doing. Let me cut this iron on back here. That'll be next. Got all this fabric up here. And I'm just gonna sew on something else. I don't know where my other piece is. It flew off somewhere. Okay. Right here. Just doing some chain piecing here. I don't like breaking my thread. It's a waste of my thread that I pay good money for. So let me take that off. And now I'm just going to press this border over And then I'll read more comments. Whoops. Trying to figure out the best place to put the chair, but you're not going to see much anyway because I'm behind the machine. This machine's much bigger. So I ordered some Bernina Accessories I was telling you all about, and some of them came in today. I think I still am missing 2 or 3 items maybe, so that was pretty good. I picked those up, but I did not spend any other money. Like, give me what I came in here for. That's it. Okay. So this is one side of the border here. So basically I just sewed 2 strips together before I put it on the quilt top. All right. Just making it bigger. All right, I don't want to knock I got the cord here plugged in for the iPad. Don't want to knock that down. Oops. Then my light box falling over. And don't want to roll over my phone cord. All right. So, let's see what people are saying in the comment section here. I can't remember the last one, the binding babies. Diane says, I just drop it in a box with the clip. Got that right. Don says that Cherie, that will be awesome. You will have to send T one and have her show it on her channel. She's talking about one of the ones that Cherie made, I guess. Susan says, I used to think that binding a quilt was a real pain. Now it's my favorite part. Now that's awesome. I don't mind putting the binding on, but if I'm doing it by hand on the back, then that's the part I don't like. If I'm doing it by machine, then it's fine. If it's all by machine. Virgie, Susan, you know you are almost to the end. Yes, when you put the binding on. The Clover binding roller does exactly the same things as T's wooden seam setter. They say it's for binding, but I use it for any seams where I'm not ironing immediately. I do what you do at Tiff, just throw it on the floor. That's for Mary. Rose says we don't have a fenced yard, but I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm going to skip the rest of that. Virgie says, T, does that Bernina have a thread cutter button? Yes, it does have a thread cutter button. When Sprinter is saying beautiful, I think she's talking about the quilt. Looks pretty from Virgie. Diane says our puppy is growing like weeds. Quilt is very pretty from Down. Love the quilt tee. Thank you, Susan. The thing I like about the Clover binding roller is that there is no resistance for arthritis hands. So arthritic hands. That's a good thing if you've got issues with that. Darcy says getting a new machine is exciting, but now I have to learn everything again. I had just gotten to the point where I was going to try some free motion and my machine goes bad. It is curved rather than flat on the roller part to handle uneven seams, hence the binding application, but it works for all seams. End of advertisement. Diane says the Maltese is full of energy and has no backup in him. I don't know what she's talking about. Mario says you have a good eye for colors, T. Thank you so much. Ellie says, T, I see you're using your Oliso iron, not your cordless Panasonic. Yeah, I'm using the Oliso iron because remember Kevin and I had bought them at a sale that Jackman's had here, and so I needed to make sure that it was working. And that, since I've been working on this quilt in here, that's my first time using the iron, so it's just still in here. I haven't put it back up. Don says, what size are your blocks? Did you use AccuQuilt to square up your rail fence blocks? No, I did not. If you missed any information about these blocks, I got videos part 1 and 2 up, 3 and 4 coming. So we talked about all of that weeks ago. June says, I like the color for your pretty quilt. Thank you, June. It's not going to be my quilt, though. It's going to be some Teaquilters quilt. I'm actually giving this quilt away. Cecilia Duckuson, I don't know if that's correct, says, love how you put your color so lovely from Philippines. Hello, welcome, Cecilia, and thank you so much. Ellie says, T, what is the iron you like to use the most when quilting? I really love Rowenta irons because they get very hot, but they only last me like 6 months. I even have a steam generator. I had one before that went bad, and then I bought a different model. And then I just actually put the steam generator up because it takes up so much space on your ironing surface, and so I just put it up. So I haven't used the second steam generator in years, but I thought maybe if I bought a steam generator that would be better, and I ran right through the Rowenta steam generator too. So I need a steam generator that doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and I've seen some, but I just haven't forked out that kind of money yet. But yeah, irons can cost a lot of money. Chocolate Treat says, hello, fast hello, blowing kisses, then I'm off to bed. Kind of tired, but all of you entice me to pick in. Hello, hope you sleep well. Darcy says, your blues and greens go together so beautifully. Thank you. Elwin McGoss here says, hello, T and T Quilters. Better late than never to join you from Las Vegas. Welcome. Don says, I've watched your video 1 and 2, enjoyed them, haven't watched 3 yet. 3 is not up yet. I was having issues because I couldn't find the piece, and I needed to wait until I pieced the quilt top until I could do part 3 as far as editing and getting all the stuff together for part 3. So I just did that a couple days ago, and so now I just need to find time to edit the videos, and I'm hoping if I can get this, yeah, I'll get these borders on tonight, even if I don't do it all on live, but I should have it on live. It's only 2 more seams. I will take pictures tomorrow is my goal, because I just need to take pictures, and then I can finish off those videos. Does your Bernina have a binding tool? It has you can get a binding tool. You can purchase that. It doesn't have one. I did order like a roll hammer because I plan to use that, and I might end up using it to sew my binding down. That's the reason why I bought it. But you can also use it like when you have soft fabrics that you just want to put a roll hem on. That's what it's actually for. Carol saying beautiful colors. Thank you, Carol. Teresa says, those greens and blues are beautiful, T. Thank you. And Quilting for the Soul says, T, if no one wants your quilt, I would take it. I'm just saying. It's actually going into a drawing for anyone that had purchased anything from Teaquilts website or the wooden tools. If I sent you an invoice, things like that, then you are in the drawing. And then some people that did not pay through the website but paid through CashApp, I have documentations on that too, so you will also be getting that too. And I do have a couple of my customers that send checks directly in the mail, so you will be on there as well. So just know that the people that have purchased, I was telling people on Wednesday that next Wednesday, the 14th of October, is I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and I didn't start out quilting. I got on here for line dancing, but it's been 10 years since I've been on YouTube, and so I'm actually giving this quilt away. And since I normally get about, I'm just going to guess on web orders, about 50 web orders a year, something like that. I don't hold me to it. But as of October, no, the end of September, I had over 150 orders. And so I just decided to go ahead and just donate this quilt. I was going to keep it for one of my lectures, but I'm just going to go ahead and donate this quilt to one of the people that made a purchase during that time. So Wednesday, on October 14th, I will be doing a drawing during that time. Ellen Campbell is here. She says, hi T and all quilting friends. So some of these people have quilt channels. You've got Tiffany on here. Sarah has a channel, Quilting for the Soul. Tiffany's Quilting Life. Ellen Campbell has a channel. Let's see, Cherie's, I'm thinking Cherie Tropic Studio has a channel. I can't follow everybody and keep up with everybody because I'm just super busy. And I'm already driving myself nuts trying to keep up with what I'm trying to do. So I'm sorry if I'm not following your channels, but I do appreciate them when I get a chance. And Quilting for the Soul is saying, wow, congratulations. You're welcome. Thank you so much. And Kim says, y'all have a good night and a good Sunday. Bye, Kim. Thank you so much for popping in. Appreciate that. Ellie says, what's the steam arms that is used in the fashion industries? The one that the water bottle hangs. The name of the system draws a blank right now. That's been happening too much lately, laughing out loud. I can't remember the names of any of them that I've researched because they do all have strange, weird names. And I think because a lot of them are coming from other countries. I really don't think the USA has a great iron that's being produced here. So when they give names, they're normally a little bit different. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and start pinning my other borders on. And again, I'm not going to go into how I piece this. I'm just going to show it to you and I'm going to explain. But it's going to be a video coming out because I've already talked about it for the beginner sewers that are in here. Again, I sewed my two pieces of border together. But because this is going to intersect with the border that's already on the quilt, I've done a little bit piecing here. So what I've done is I've added a strip here, and all the measurements will be included in part 4 of the video. And I even was short some fabric and put a seam in this piece because it really didn't matter. It was just a tone on tone. And then I added a piece here for the border, and you'll see what happens when I put this on my quilt top. But I did that to both ends, and I did it to both top and bottom border. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and work on pinning this on. It's going to take me a little minute. I'm sitting on the edge of my chair and don't know why. I didn't sit down right. Okay. Trying to get it all hanging down long. All right. And I'm just going to work on one end at this point because I've had to turn it all. When I'm pinning at my long arm, it's a lot easier to do this stuff. You know, this is where I normally go do this. On the long arm system, since I got the table there. So I want to find my center and mark my center. Right there. And then pin between those two pins. Gets a little longer now. I'm one of those people, I do not just sew my borders on because I'm telling you, quilts will grow. I pin my border in the middle, pin like 2 or 3 inches in from the end, and then I go in between those two pins and start pinning. I want to make sure that I've eased that border in throughout the entire strip and not just get down the other end of the quilt and then one end of the quilt is not square. If your quilt's on square, that's the reason why. I don't like receiving quilts to long arm quilt that the borders are wonky, because if it stitches over, make a pucker, then they want to put it on your quilting being the problem, when in true essence it wasn't stitched right in the first place. So some fullness I can ease in, but I'm not a miracle worker. I can't ease in everything. So now I'm back to the center pin here, and I'm going back to the other end so I can now pin the other side. And I like to come in like 2 to 3 inches so that I know the end of my quilt is nice and flat, that part's not going to change, so it's going to stay nice and square. This is one time I do recommend you pin, and as you see, I'm pinning. There are times I tell you to pin, and then I go, I'm going to go ahead and sew it. But for my beginners, you know, I recommend they pin. I recommend everybody pin their borders on. Now, I also have my dual feed feet on this Bernina as well, but I've never needed to use that for my borders anyway because I pin. But then that's also going to help in between the pins to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to stay. So we're just going to go ahead and do this one because of turning this whole quilt. It's going to be a pain, so we're going to go ahead and just do the one. Now I'm sewing on top and bottom borders. These are my final borders, and at this point I now want to back stitch. When I'm quilting the rest of my quilt, I don't do a whole lot of back stitching. I only back stitch when it's on the edge of the quilt. That way when I get it to my long arm frame, I don't have to worry about those corners trying to come off. This quilt's like 84 3/4 edge to edge, and it's a complete square. So that's the size of it. So it's a great lap quilt. You could also probably fit a double bed, like a full-size bed. Almost to the end. And then I'll press this corner out. I mean this border, and then I'll show you what that corner looks like. Okay, I'm taking my last pin out, sewing down to the end, and I want to make sure that I backstitch. Okay, and then just chain piece on something else. Okay. Almost finished with the piecing. I didn't put my iron on. Let me do that so it can heat up, and I'll read a few comments while it heats. Put that over there. Lisa says that today is her hub's birthday, and he had to start the day plumbing after I clogged the disposal. Happy birthday, darling. That's funny. Tell him we say happy birthday. People were talking to other people, but Sarah also said to tell him happy birthday. Dorsey says, I turned around and went right back inside. I love the time you check because it's daytime in the Philippines. That's pretty cool, Cecilia. T, how did you figure your border length? Sorry if I missed it. I got a video that's going to talk about all those measurements because it's a little bit different when you're dealing with quilts that are on point. You don't get like that half. It's my quilt top's going to end up 84 and 3/4 inches square. That's the size of it. But I'll be uploading part 4 to come up 3. I got to edit 3, and I'll probably go ahead and try to edit 4 at the same time. And then I'll probably try to release them just a day apart so the beginners don't panic with getting all the information at one time. But I do have all the measurements that will be in the video. I just didn't want to go through all that tonight. And I don't have the paper in here with me right now anyway. Mario says, great tips, T. Thank you. You're welcome. A lot of people, a lot of comments about animals and stuff, and I'm trying to skip some of that and the weather. I normally read everything, but I'm trying just to read some of it. Rose saying, I cannot wait to see this top when it's done. I do love the colors. We got Leetta Bryant's here. She says, hi, TNT Quilters. Hi, Leetta, and welcome. T, where were you when I sewed all 4 corners of my border like binding? Did it twice. Instead of ripping, I cut the corners and added a block. Came out pretty nice in the ENGs. Yes. And I probably need to do it. I don't know if I've ever done a video on miter corners or not, but I probably need to do one of those as well. Ellen says, that is one beautiful quilt. Hopefully I shall win it. She's I got numbers in a jar. I got a spreadsheet. Everybody's on a line. So it will be whoever number is pulled on whatever line. And then they've got, I'm going to give people, I guess I'll give a week to notify me if you're the winner. If you don't notify me in a week, I'm going to draw the next week. So next Wednesday, if nobody wins that drawing, then the following Wednesday, I'll keep drawing until somebody that hears that they won has won the quilt. I'm not advertising it outside of the live chats because I figure if you were ordering from me in 2020, you must have been listening to me in the live chats, because I hadn't uploaded as many videos and I haven't done as many drawings outside of my chats, because I hate to give drawing prizes to people that just watch video when they see that you say drawing is involved. So I don't do that. So that's why I did this drawing different. Sarah says, yes, Ellen, the quilt is beautiful, but I'm hoping to win. Laughing out loud. That's funny. Virgin said, are you going to give this quilt in a drawing? Yes, I am. Kevin also, he said, you're just too generous. I said, you know, I was going to put it in a quilt lecture. I haven't done one this year. I probably will not do one next year. So, you know, I'll go ahead and give it away. So then I started me another string quilt, okay? That's just how it is. And then hopefully maybe I'll make another one for me to put back in my lecture. Make one similar to this and put back in my lecture that I wanted to add it into. That's what I was going to do with it first. And Tiffany says, welcome to those joining the chat. Don't forget to give T a thumbs up. Thank you, Tiffany, for the reminder. Mary says, T, what size hammer did you get? I'll do a Bernina haul on Wednesday. That's what I'll do on Wednesday for the stuff that I have. And then I'll tell you what I'm missing because I have my receipt and I know. So I'll tell you all of that on Wednesday. How about that? Because I can't remember what feet I bought. Ellen says, move over, quilting for the soul. I'm going to send my mojo forward. Laughing out loud. They already arguing over the quilt. Cindy Lopez is here. She says, hi, I'm so happy to catch this video. Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. I am doing well and hope you are too. Don says, that is very generous to give away. Do you pay the shipping too? Yes, ma'am. I'll pay the shipping too. I probably try to cram it inside of a medium size postal box. If not the medium, then I'll go up to the large. But I'll try to make it so that it'll be about $20 to mail it. Yes. And I got to get it quilted. I got that pineapple quilt still just looking at me on my frame. So I'm hoping, my plan is tomorrow, take this top outside, finish the video for part 4, then come inside and try to figure out why my machine decided it didn't want to do my tension right. I think it was because the bobbin wasn't winding right. That's what I think. So I need to sew on some scrap, and I don't have much room because that's a huge quilt. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. So I need to put a scrap on the side so I can do some test sewing before I start trying to run a panto. While that's quilting, once I get that part done, once that's quilting, I'm planning to edit videos while it's quilting the pads. I'm going to use a panto that's electronic so I don't have to run the machine, let the machine run itself. And then maybe I can start editing videos from there. So that's my plan. Now, you all know how you make plans and God laughs, right? So we'll see. Let's see what's going on with the chat. It jumped on me, guys. Janet says, T, what kind of batting are you using? I'm actually using batting that I purchased from Marshall's Dry Goods. It's an 80/20 is what I'm going to be using on this quilt. I'm also using the same batting on my pineapple quilt. So that's what I'm going to be using. It's a little bit denser than Hobbs 80/20. I feel like Hobbs 80/20 doesn't really fill out well, and I feel like this one being just a little bit denser, it does, but it's not a polyester feel to it, to the, you know, to the finished quilt. Cecilia says, I hope and pray I win the quilt too. It would be my first gift. Quilting not so popular in the Philippines because we are a tropical country, but I love quilting so much. New quilter on 4th project only. Mary says that would be awesome at T. I give a whole lot away too, T. It feels good to give. Cherie says, I have an electric binding maker that automatically binds onto a spool. I find difficult because the size is small to hold a large quilt binding. Ellie Scrapper said, yay T, I did see you on Facebook today with all those bags you put in order by colors. Well, not by colors, it was just the green and blue that I pulled out, and then I also pulled out all the lights, the background kind of stuff. The other stuff I pulled out was bag of strings, and then things that were already kind of string-ish. I just pressed that bag today because I'm working on a string quilt, and I did notice that I did have a few pieces in there that I need to trim, and then I have another bag that is pieces for strings that need to be cut into strings, and then I have another bag that is pieces I'm going to cut into 2.5-inch strips. So yeah, I got a lot of cutting to do, but I did get one bag pressed today. And if people are wondering what I'm talking about, I had a friend, a very close friend, she's going through her stuff and deciding that she's not going to be the quilter that died with the most stuff. She used to say she was going to win, but she don't want to win anymore. So she was going through her stash, which is just as large as mine, and she was getting rid of a lot of, she said if she keeping yardage, then she was going to be getting rid of most of her scraps. But she gave me 7 bags this time of just more scrap stuff, but inside of that I still found yardage and stuff. So she had given me some yardage before in 2 or 3 bags, so this is her second time. So she's really getting rid of it. She's saying she's not a true scrap quilter per se. She does a lot of machine embroidery, and then she puts borders onto quilts for the most part. So she doesn't make the type of scrappy quilts like this. She doesn't do traditional quilting a whole lot. So she just said that she probably wasn't going to be using all that stuff. So I have been sorting and sorting and sorting. It took me all day yesterday to sort through the 7 bags. And I still got, well, I sorted through 7 bags. I got one more bag in my car, but it's just bolts. About 5 pieces that are bow ends that I'm just going to use for quilt backings on charity quilts. So, but yep, it took a while. Mary says, get that pineapple quilt done, girl. It's not going away. Yes, it's not. And I'm just going to put some basic design on it because I am so over it. I tried so many designs, and like I said, when you buy digital designs, you don't know if they are going to stitch out correct until you pull them up on the screen. And so I've had some issues with some of the designs not pulling up right, not connecting right. Like they'll pull up, but then the start and stop points wouldn't connect, and then you're going to want me to hit the start every time you stitch one cycle of the panto, and I don't have time for that. So I kind of get rid of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've had some major issues trying to stitch, and then when I finally decided let's just pick something, I picked a swirl or something, and because I had swirl in my black fabric, and it started stitching, and then it wasn't even stitching, holding the tension. I was like, you know what, I'm done with you. And it's been sitting on there now like 2 weeks, so I gotta get it done. Cynthia Ely is here. She says, good evening, TNT Quilter. Sorry I'm late. You're never have to apologize for being late. We appreciate whenever you can stop in. Patricia Carluccio is here. She says, hi TN everyone, just not feeling so good, just watching tonight. Well, I hope you feel better. Sorry about that. Let me see. My iron probably heated up and unheated. Let me put it back on there one more time. BB Oliver is here, saying hello, I'm assuming. Say hi, Miss T. And probably T Quilters, probably be up later. And Patricia saying thanks to everyone. COPD is hard. Jackie says happy Thanksgiving to all T Quilters from Canada this weekend. Well, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Forgot about that. A lot of people are also saying happy Thanksgiving. I know we had at least 3 people from Canada when we first started. No, Mario's probably still here. I saw a comment from him. Don says, I saw your video on making spray starch. Do you make yours now? I need to go to the liquor store. I hardly ever go to the liquor store because my grocery store sells vodka with potato in it, and I'm trying not to buy that kind, and so it's hard for me to go. I have been using, I had a whole lot of bottles of Best Press that I'm just trying to use up, so I'm using that now. So I do plan to continue to make my own starch. I still like the old just add hot water starch, you know. I like that too, but I don't have any of that at home. But I'm just trying to use whatever I got here to get rid of it. That's what I'm really doing. So yes, I do. Soul Patch 33 says hello from Illinois. Hi and welcome. I made the Monet double redding ring out of scraps and was amazed. I had so many still. Yes, it's amazing. Scraps never go anywhere. I'm going to have to stop, guys, and iron before this iron turns off again. And then I'll show you this corner because I still got to do one more border. Got my fan on high. It's blowing my border. And I am ironing on that mat that I bought from that horse company too. I can't even remember the name of the company now. I have to research that. And I just got it folded over. Remember, I wanted to cut it so that it would fit, but it wouldn't. I knew I got such small space here, but I just folded it over on itself for right now. And I haven't used much starch on it, so I don't have it covered because I have it folded over. But I also gave my friend one for her birthday. All right. Show you my corner here. Have to make sure I don't hit the cord wire. So now here is I put one of my top or bottoms, whichever one it is, on. And so then that's how my corner now looks. Okay. But it's just a quick way of adding both borders at one time, and then you just accent the corners out. And then you don't have to go around the quilt 2 times to add a whole border, like in your traditional border like this, where you would have to go around the quilt the entire time, or you would have to miter your corners. So you just putting a little decoration in the corner without doing all the work of going around a quilt twice. So now I just want to put this last one on. I'm going to go ahead and do that just so we can get this quilt done. It's already been on here an hour, almost 15 minutes. So we want to make sure we get this quilt top done because I need to do some videotaping. trying to make sure that this is lined up on here. All right, now let's go to the middle. All right. This is the boring part, is pinning. It is boring. And I have another quilt top that needs borders put on it too. So I guess I gotta find time to do that one. Now we're doing the other end. Woo. Okay, lay this flat. Put my end piece on. Okay, right there is good. All right, back to the middle. Dorsey saying my little boy turns 16 tomorrow morning at 9:05. Happy birthday! It just happens to be where my phone is laying on its side at. I can't even remember the last comment I've read other than that one. Let's see. Rhonda Barlow has come in. And Dennis is saying hi after I said I know Dennis is still in here. Let me go ahead and sew this in. Remember, don't forget on your last borders you're adding to your quilt top to make sure you backstitch. Even when I added these two strips together, I knew that they were going to be on the edge, and so I made sure that I backstitched on those strips as well. Take this off. Did I? I'm trying to see now if I cut this before if I had cut this to the right size. Yes. I was going to say I just put a triangle on there. I got to make sure it's the right size before I cut it. But whenever I get my pineapple quilt off, this will be the next quilt that I quilt. I'm going to bump it ahead of everything else. So that hopefully whoever wins will most definitely get it by the end of the month. And I don't want it to be coming in when people are doing a lot of shopping for Christmas and sending holiday gifts. So I do want to get it in the mail right away. And it will probably be machine binding front and back. So yeah. Because I'm not going to have time to hand stitch it down. You'll never get it. I got 2 bed quilts still from my completions for September that I haven't sold 1 stitch. The label for the first one is still sitting in the hoop. I was going to stitch the second one underneath it and never even programmed that in. Just a mess. Almost to the end. Got 1 more pin. And now my last 3 inches, and I want a back stitch. Okay, and now I'm just going to sew another piece so that I'm not breaking my thread. Whoops. You guys let me know what projects you're working on in the comments when I start back reading. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I don't know if it's hot back there yet. So I'll read a few comments just while I wait for this iron to heat up so we can get that done. Let's see. Let's see. I gotta go back. BB says, hi Miss T and Quilt folks. I just got back from surfing for canning supplies. I checked for you at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Forgot the day. Love the binding color, the border. I'm not doing binding yet, but thank you. That's BB. Carl says, I like your shirt. Is it on your site? It's not on my site, but you can just send me an email. Let me know what size you want, and I can send them. But this will change. You know, they don't keep the same prints out all the time. So I try to find, I'll send you some photos of whatever prints I have in stock, and then you can choose. That's why this shirt's not on my website, because I can't keep it consistent. It all changes. You can even change your shirt color if you want. So that's why this shirt's a little different. Haha T, more squirrels. Didn't you get enough of them when you had to cut down the tree? What is she talking about? Did I miss something? BB says, my husband's birthday is October 13th. Does that count for October? Nope. I've already had the October drawing last week. Hi to all. Hello to those who are in Canada and going to have a beautiful Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. That's from Diane. I said Rhonda was here. Show us your shirt, T. It just says, don't worry, be scrappy. I said about Dorothy. Cynthia says, I love the colors in your quilt. Thank you, Cynthia. Sheila says, T, what is your Bernina sewing machine number? I'm looking for new machines. I have never sewn on a Bernina before. Just went for a demo. Also went for demo on a brother going for baby lock. This is the 770 Quilters edition. If you're getting a new one and got the money, go ahead and get the 790 or is it 780, the top of the line in this series, because it does a couple of more things if you're going to do it that I think are really nice. So if you're going to buy it at this level, see if they do the same deal with the next level. I know they got like 770s, I think, or 780s. I can't remember whether you get one machine, you buy this machine with the embroidery, and then they give you a smaller one for you to take the class and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Rose says, I was wondering if you had used that mat. She's talking about that press mat back there. Yes, I bought it to take the quilt retreat. So, you know, I haven't gone to any of that, but I wanted to also use it to make sure it wasn't going to smell or anything. Tiffany says, that is great, T. Why didn't I think of that at Mary? Mario says, my granny used to sew, and she used water and cornstarch. She would sprinkle it on with a small straw broom. Now, that's pretty cool. Water and cornstarch. I don't know if my mom ever did that. I know they used that Argo starch, that stuff, that starch that people also used to eat in the South. It's kind of weird. My cousin, a story, my cousin loved that starch. She would eat the starch, and she had a baby, and when she was pregnant, she got a craving for it, and she was eating it all the time. When her baby was born, it was coated in this white stuff, and the doctors were trying to figure out what was wrong with the baby. They thought something was medically wrong with the baby. It ended up being that the starch had collected all on the baby's skin. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I said, that's a lot of starch. Very nice tea. That's from Diane. Ellen says, that is a great technique. Looks good. That's beautiful. State line tack. Thank you, Janet. Because I called it the Mustang place. I've only ordered from them once, and that's, I ordered both my mat and my friend's mat, and then I ordered some metal buckles that I needed from them for some other stuff. So yeah, I only ordered one time from them, so that is pretty funny. Pretty quilt tee from Patricia. The border is perfect match, cheerful colors. Thank you, Mario. Regina C says, beautiful. Thank you, Regina. June says, I always get new useful information from UT. Thank you for sharing with us. You're so welcome. I remember Mom starched in the washer, then put in the fridge. She starched in the washer, and then she saved it and reused it and used it again. I don't understand that one, Diane. Linda says, okay, Tiff, I sent an email. Lisa says, everyone is wanting your quilt, T. It's beautiful. Thank you. Ellen says, T, I need you to pay you to border one for me in this style. Ellen, you something else. And then Teresa says, was it state line tack? Yes. I just want to make sure people that are looking for it can get it. They have the wool mats that are a whole lot cheaper than buying them at the store, and this mat is huge. And I paid maybe $25 or somewhere in that neighborhood, but I got two of them, so I'm just going to say maybe $27 a piece. And then you order, and I think that's why I ordered the buckle things, because at some point you get free shipping or something. So yeah, I just felt like it was worth it than buying the little gray mats. And they did have them in gray, but the quilters found out about them, and so all they had was the brown one that I'm currently using now. So just keep my iron on here. I'm trying to catch up with some of the comments. Oh, so they had put the clothes in the starch in her fridge. Mary is saying her mom did too, so I get it now. Mom used Argo starch. I'm looking for it. You may have to be looking in the South. Are you in the South? That's where you normally find that starch. I use a fusible material like a thin foam, which I still do not know how it's called in quilters world. I don't know what Celia, what she's using it for. And Sarah says her mother put the clothes in the freezer instead of the refrigerator. I love the smell of starching. I do all my binding, my machine front and back. Love the smell of clean laundry. T, how many total quilts have you made? That's from Mary. Probably over 600. I have to look in my spreadsheet because I keep track of it in my Excel sheet, but you know, I say 600. It's probably like 600 items because I do tote bags and stuff like that too. So it's everything. And yeah, but it's since 1994. At one point I was averaging like 40 to 50 things I was completing in a year. So it grows pretty fast. I've made over, I'm gonna guess and say about 125, 150 quilts for my family alone. I've made just about everybody in my family at least a twin size quilt. And then my mom and my daughter probably have about 5 or 6 quilts each. Because every time I made a quilt, one of them two would take it. And I had to put them on a quilt sabbatical and tell them that you can't take quilts because I can't make them for the rest of the family. But I have a very large family. I made quilts for everybody from my grandmother down. My grandmother had 12 children that lived. And so think about the family tree of making a quilt for everybody from my grandmother's 12 children. My grandmother and her 12 children. And I even made them for the spouses of my family members too, if I knew them. I had to at least met you at least once, you know. And I make everybody like twin size for the most part. So this quilt's bigger than I would normally give out. But I tend to make twin size quilts because twin size quilts are nice throw size quilts. I think throw size quilts are not long enough sometimes for tall people. And then what I like to do is take twin quilts when I go out of town and stay in hotels. You can roll yourself into a twin quilt that you don't have to use their bedding. So that's why I like the my corners again. So that's why I like using twin size quilts as gifts. I'm not making them to put on people's beds. I'm making them so that they have something nice to roll up in, and when you roll over, roll yourself up into the quilt, you don't have to worry about your backside catching the air, okay? You know, you always got one part of your body that the quilt wasn't quite big enough when it's throw size. So now it's ready for quilting. So I'll just leave that in here because it won't be quilted by Wednesday, so I'll have it for the drawing. Let me go back and see what else is going on in here. And Mary's still making masks, did 22. I still need to make one for the lady at the post office that asked me probably now about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. I have no desire to make a mask. That's horrible. What is the purpose of putting starch fabric in the fridge? Does cold air, what does cold air do? That's from Dawn. Cecilia says, thanks for the advice. I sure will try. Susan says, I am going to doing another I Spy quilt for my new to me grandson. He's a gift, my daughter's boyfriend's son. That's nice. Mary says, my mom had an ironer machine. I don't know if we had one of those. I know we had like the ring washers where you had to put them through the ringer and it bring the clothes out. But I don't remember what we ironed with as a kid, if it was old-fashioned or if it was a standard iron. I can't remember. Adding elastic to the finish. The car travel pockets for granddaughters. Finally, added elastic to finish the car travel pockets. Oh, okay. For the granddaughters, finally. That's pretty cool, Lisa. Marcia says, well, my project will be learning to use a new machine, laughing out loud. You got that right. That's why I do string quilting sometimes. I always have strings laying around, so when I get new machine, like when I was working with that vintage Singer machine, I don't have to worry about it. It's a 1/4 inch accurate on my first seam, but it's not a wasted seam either, because I can just sew strings together where it doesn't matter. But that's pretty cool. Sew some strings, Darcy. June says, I'm working on fall panel. It's very pretty using a different kind of piecing, so hopefully it will come out okay. I'm sure it will. Tiffany says, I'm not working on one specific project. As soon as my legs are not so wobbly, I need to load the long arm with customer pillow shams I'm behind on. That'd be great when she can get her. You got your machine out, I'm assuming. Diane's working on a block of the month with Stitch Haven. Mine is the Texas Monthly. Working on a Storm at Sea with AccuQuilt block on board. I got that one too. I want to work on that one. Dee Dee says, Dee Dee here from Michigan. What are you making with the strip sitting on your machine? It's just my chain piecing project right now. I just pulled out. I always have strings and stuff that I'm just working on. So it's just something I'm working on right now. Haven't decided what I'm gonna actually do with them in the end yet. So I'm still trying to figure that out. You put squirrels. No, swirls. SWIRLS, not squirrels. I would, ooh. I had one quilt that it was a mystery block from Paper Panache. And you don't know what the block is that you're piecing until the end. And it ended up being a squirrel. And I swear I could have gone through the computer and strangled her. But it was a cute little swirl. And I actually did end up using him because she has very intense paper piecing. So I wasn't going to just throw it away. But I did put it in a quilt. But it's at the bottom of the quilt. But it's in the quilt. But it was too cute. Not a squirrel, girl. Mm-mm. Cherie says, I'm working on a Canadian maple leaf quilt that I won, and finally quilting the Monet double wedding ring. Still, my broken arm not letting me right now, so I'm prepping for hexies instead. Hope you get better too. Cheryl says, I'm starting on my first scrappy string quilt. Very excited. Yes. Dee Dee says, we have to do anything to get in. Do we have to do anything to get in the drawings for the quilt you are making? You have already done it. The people who have qualified to get into the drawing or the people that have purchased from me this year. So you have done that more than once, Dee Dee. So you are already in. And also, anybody from YouTube that has had me quilt their quilts, you're also entered for those quilts that I quilted for you. So you're already entered. Everybody just has their name on a line, and I have numbers in here up to 200. And so, because I haven't added October information yet, PayPal will give me monthly statements on what I made and who purchased from me, so I got to go in and add the other people. So you don't have to do a thing. Just show up next Wednesday. Hold on, I moved my. Virgie says, hopefully I will have it done by Christmas. Good luck on the fall panel. Ellen says, I'm falling asleep. Would have to watch this over again. That's okay. We're not talking about much, girl. I'm just reading the comments right now. Good night, Ellen. Yes, T, I'm in the South. Okay, and it's weird that you can't find that starch in the South. I wonder, I'm going to have to ask my cousin. I'm going to have to email her because out of curiosity, because I want to know. She lives in South Carolina, and I want to know if she's still eating that starch. And if she's eating it, she's probably nowhere to get it. T, she put the starch on clothes in the refrigerator in a plastic bag. Okay. Well, I figured somebody had kind of helped me with it before I got to your comment. We make gravy with Argo starch in South Carolina. A lot of people use flour and gravy. Now, wow. Okay. So they put that into the gravy too. Okay. Wow, that's amazing, T. I use it here in North Carolina. The starch. Reply, here I come. Good night, Miss T. Everyone, see you next time. Bye, Lisa. We got about 22 more minutes here, guys. I did have another quilt top I'm going to sew a border on, but I can do that after the fact. I don't really, I like to chat with you all too. At least I done what I was supposed to do, right? I got the border on that quilt. It's ready to be photographed tomorrow. I have to probably wait until I get the right sun, because if I go out in the morning, it's going to put a shadow on it. So I may have to wait until afternoon. But at least I got that done. Good night, Lisa. She said, replay, here I come. Good night, Miss T, and everyone. See you next time. Don says, my maternal grandmother had 12 kids too. They were from Nebraska. My mom was oldest. Have aunt younger than me. Yes. I don't think it happened to me, but it probably happened to some other people in the family. But my mom is also the oldest of 12. My grandmother had 13 kids that lived with 2 sets of twins that didn't make it. That's from Diane. Mary says, my daughter got bed bugs at a motel, so we take our own bedding. I'm making an easy quilt just for that purpose. Yes. I take my own bedding everywhere I go. I don't care if I'm flying, if it's going to be part of my 40 pounds, if I have to hold the quilt. I am not going anywhere without my own bedding. I go in and if they're not washing the comforters that they're putting on these hotel beds, then I don't want any parts of it. So I always take a can of Lysol and I take my quilt. And I Lysol crap out that place. I go into my room, I Lysol everything, and then I leave because you can't stay in the room. I got so much Lysol going on. I even Lysol the remote control. My daughter go, this remote control not gonna work. I said, I don't care. If it don't work, they can bring me another one. I'm gonna Lysol it too. If you're not cleaning the stuff, then I don't want to touch it. So I'm taking care of it. But yeah, I always have, with me line dancing, we used to travel around the USA going to various places, and sometimes, they would book us into these suspect hotels, and depending on how suspect, I may go to a different hotel. I would pay the night for a hotel room and go pay somewhere else to sleep because I wasn't going to stay in that hotel. But after a certain time, you can't cancel, and they're going to go ahead and charge you for that room for that night, but you can cancel your other nights. So yeah, my daughter and I have paid for many hotels and then went to another hotel. Okay, we've had roommates where we were supposed to have 4 people in a room, and we decided when we got to the room we weren't staying, and we paid our part of that room and went somewhere else. We are a mess. And it wasn't like we balling in money to do it, but it was like when we go on trips, we make sure that we have extra money in case something like that happens, because when you go to a new area, you never know where they're going to assign for you to stay. And I just don't stay in bad spots. I don't stay in bad spots. Linda says that's beautiful, T. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Mary says, my dad was the only child, and my mom had a brother who died, so we have no family. Oh, wow. And my daughter, that's what she's getting a little nervous now, because she's my only biological child. I have a stepdaughter. So, she's 34. I have to remember what year. 34. And so now she's getting concerned because she hasn't found who she wants to marry yet. So I'm like, sometimes, it just ain't in the cards for you. You just don't want to marry anybody either, Hi, Triana. I hope you're behaving for Tiffany. Sarah says, I'm working on my cathedral window quilt, and that's also on my to-do list. I want to do a bed-size double wedding ring and a cathedral window quilt. Rose, somebody, I was wondering what the squirrels was about, laughing out loud, squirrels. Mario says, I make chocolate pudding with cornstarch all the time. I thicken spaghetti sauce with cornstarch also. Show us the other quilt too, top, please. No, ma'am. You can't see everything. It's the quilt that I told you I was doing that had those 9 patches in it. But it's folded up. I can't because I got the borders pinned on it. And so if I open it up, it's going to mess up my border fabric. So I can't. But I'll show it to you. Mary says, Marty, my daughter also has an ultraviolet light to test surfaces in motels. Got that right, but honey, I spray just about every darn thing, and I ain't walking on the floor. I'll spray like right by my bed, but I always have, y'all know I live in my Birkenstocks all year long, so I use them as house shoes and have them right by the bed so I have stuff to slip into if I need to go to the restroom or something. But you know, these hotels, it's a joke if you're paying housekeeping, but it's okay for them not to work. It's kind of strange to me. Vonda says, my elementary school bus driver and her grandchildren ate Argo starch when she drove the bus. In her politeness, she would offer us. Always turn the offer down. You got that right. Ugh. I'm trying to see. And then it says that Argo starch is made with potato starch. And that's why I have not used it to make starch. I'm trying not to put anything that's like a food-based into any kind of starch. So that's why I'm not using it. My screen just jumped, guys. Big time. It jumped all the way to the bottom and I was just holding it. Hold on. Oh, it's not too bad. That's good. Tiffany says she's having surgery in November. That's what I did the first time I married anybody. Big mistake. Got that right. Patricia says, hope it all works out. I understand about breathing and energy. Jackie says, time to say goodnight. I got 6 pies to make tomorrow morning. See you Wednesday night. Thank you, Jackie, for your support. Appreciate it. Susan says, me too, at married. Big mistake first time, first marriage. Live and learn. And that's what I was telling my daughter. You know, you can't. She has this knack of finding somebody. And then she teaches, because my daughter loves to dress. So she'll teach them how to dress. Cook everything under the sun for them, you know, spoil them rotten, and then they find they want somebody else. And I'm like, you need to quit doing all of this stuff. You know, just let them dress how they dress. And but she's so particular when she going out. She don't want somebody looking weird with her. I would let them look weird until I decided I was in love and we getting married or something. Just look weird. I ate Argo starch with my daughter when I was when tea people eat it. Yep. That's Sarah. Let me see. I think I'm getting to the bottom. Yep. How long have you had it? June. She's asking something that June said. I got tired of paying for best press, so went with jug of faultless starch that you add water to. And that's one of the things that I also add in my video. And that's what I probably will go back to, because I actually like that starch. It's just that I can't make it in large quantities because it does spoil faster than any other starch that I've made. And then I also put essential oils in it to help it not go bad so fast too. But that starch does want to mold if you don't do something to it. You got to watch it. And then when you buy starch like that, you don't know how long it's been on the shelf because they don't put an expiration on it. So that was the other issue I've had with that starch. Argo starch has been used for quilting over 100 years. I hope your surgery goes well too, Tiffany. Sending prayers your way. Cheryl says, I hope you're... I said that already, didn't I? Diane says, past my bedtime, I need to go to sleep. Love and happiness to all. Bye, Diane. See you. Hopefully Wednesday. Take care. Cecilia says, I use faultless spray starch. And she's talking about the kind you mix, but faultless spray starch is what I used to grow up with. But I hate that the cans, you know, that the cans are just such a waste for such a low-cost product, but then it's going into our landfills. I don't know if they recycle those cans or not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because I stopped using it so long ago that I can't even remember if they were recyclable or not. And then Mary is saying, oh, that's right. I bet they put clothes in the fridge because the starch can draw bugs. That's probably why, because it was potato based. Mario says, have to go too. It's almost midnight here. Peace and love to all. Keep safe. I will be here on Wednesday to cheer for the lucky winner. Well, thank you, Mario. See you then. There just may be another winner or two. You know, you never know. Virgie says, best wishes for prayers for you, Tiffany. And she's saying thanks to everyone. She's got more than that, but I'm just not going to read all of those. I've been trying to skip just so I can stay up on the chat comments. Sheila says, when's the next Zoom meeting? Eric's not here. I don't know. He'll have to tell us that. We just had one last week, so we've had one for the month of October, so I'm assuming it's going to be in November sometime. Dawn says, she's talking to Tiffany. Someone asked what I use for batting. I said fusible, like thin foam. Okay. I didn't realize that, Cecilia. Thank you. So that's pretty cool. It's been a long day. I was up to like 4 o'clock sewing on this quilt and making the final video. And then I got up early because the quilt shop on Saturday with doing COVID, they already have short hours, but now it's only from 10 to 1. So I had to make sure that I got up and got over there. And then I also went to Jackman's because I went to a quilt shop in Illinois. So I went to Jackman's that was in Illinois. I don't get to go over there a lot. And I didn't find anything there. I had a gift card I was just trying to use because I had forgot I had it. And then it was in my car. And I'm like, let me get this thing out of here and use it. But I still got $10 left on it because I couldn't find anything. I ended up buying an AccuQuilt Go mat. And that's all I could find to buy. And I walked around that store 2 or 3 times. So, what else? I can't remember. I think I just came home and started going through social media, making sure I was up on everything. People getting into the group and answering questions off of YouTube that I hadn't done in a few days. So, yeah, just catching up on some things. I've been trying to stay low-key the last couple of days because I've been so busy getting like 3 and 4 hours worth of sleep per night that I was trying to chill out the last few days since Wednesday because I was kind of tired. So once I got my order in for the wood turn items, I then just went into chill mode. I was doing stuff, but I was doing less production than I normally do. So just kind of chilled out the last few days. Rose says, a friend says wrinkles iron out easier if put in fridge. She just sprinkled with water and put in fridge. And I think water Gets wrinkles out a lot better. And I also use like the wrinkle release spray that you can spray on your clothes. I also spray that on my fabric if it's badly wrinkled as well. Dorothy says, good night, everybody. I got to get up early and hide my little boy's birthday presents. That's so fun. Have fun tomorrow, Darcy, with your son. Tell him we say happy birthday. Wow, Mr. Eric missed Wednesday and today. Hope he's all right. Did he miss Wednesday too? I can't remember. I thought he came in late, but maybe I'm mistaken. I get my days. I get them mixed up, you know. June says, she's talking to Tiffany now. Kim left. That's Cherie. Dee says you can never miss Jackman's tea. No, and I was, you know, and they have lots of things in there for sale, but I refuse to buy any fabric. I'm like, I don't know where it's gonna go, and so I was still trying to figure out how to use this card. And I thought about buying an AccuQuilt die because they did have some dies in there that were marked. I think all of their dies were marked like $10 cheaper than what AccuQuilt will sell them, which sometimes it was 20%. Sometimes it might have been, if it was a cheaper die, it might have been 25%. So it still wasn't a great deal, but I thought maybe if you're buying it and you just, you're buying it with a gift card, it doesn't matter. But if I got to add the extra money in, I was still going to have to spend some money. And I was trying not to spend any money. So that's why I just ended up with a mat in the end. But I walked that whole store twice trying to decide what to buy. And still got $10 on the card. So that was pretty good. And I went to another quilt shop to pick up the Bernina Accessories. And didn't spend any money there either. And I looked at their clearance fabric too. But I was like, let me go look and see what they got in machine embroidery, stuff like that. And I'm over there saying, you got a gazillion machine embroidery designs. You don't need a thing. So get out of here. So then I just told the lady, I came to pick up my items. It's too funny. But I'm doing pretty good resisting right now. Mary says, T, what was the quilt shop hop you and Kevin were talking about? It's a I think it's Central Illinois quilt shop hop they have every year. We're still talking. It lasts for the entire month, so that's why it's no big deal to rush into it. So we're still talking about doing it. You know, a lot of quilt shops do not want you to record in their stores. However, if we go on the shop hop, or when we go on the shop hop, I will just do like telling you where we are from the outside, and then we'll just go from there and see. Maybe I'll do a vlog for that shop hop day so you can know where all we went on that one day. And we're talking about doing 2 days. We'll have to see. We're going to do the first day first before we commit, because to even get to the first store, it's going to take Kevin an hour to get to me, maybe an hour 20 minutes to get to me, and then the first shop we get to is about an hour and 40 minutes away. So we have to, in order to get to Central Illinois, we're on the tail end of the Central Illinois, and then we're going to keep going further away from home, which means by the time we're done for the day, we may have a 2.5 to 3 hour ride back home on the first day. And then the second day, we're going to even have to go further out to start, because you can't go to the same stores you already been to the first time. So we're going to see on the first day, we're going to go to the ones that are closest, like Jackson, Illinois, Moss Got a Notions quilt shop in Havana, I think, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, shops. I can't remember what else, but we're going to be kind of in the Springfield, Illinois area, sort of, kind of. Patricia says, I do the same thing, even going to the store or try to cook something can be a struggle. Cherie says, okay, I know she was talking about stitching along with T. Okay, but she left a while ago saying she was, that's Kim, saying that she was tired. Was wondering if she did it or not. She's talking about the quilt top that I just showed you all. I did the sewing steps on that. And I'm about to upload parts 3 and 4. 3 is putting the center parts together. And part 4 is the borders. And she says, thanks for letting me know Kim was gone. And Dawn says, AccuQuilt is coming out with 4 new dyes on Tuesday. I hear Blue Rain, Australia was able to ship to USA again. Okay. T, you've come of age. Laughing out loud. Teresa says, thank you, T. Good night to all. Good night. We only got a couple more minutes on, guys. So get your good nights in. I want an embroidery machine someday. This is from Tiffany. There's one for sale local, but Facebook is $3,500. And I looked online, found it for $3,100. But this local one has so much extras, even a table. And that's kind of where people price it. I would just kind of eyeball it and look at it, but you still got to be close. You can't be offering them $1,000 for it, but you know, if you can offer a few $100s less and nobody else has got it in a week, then maybe somebody might take it. You know, they might take a lower amount. Dee Dee saying good night to everybody. Bye bye, Dee Dee. A lot of you all are saying good night. So I'm not gonna read all of them, but I will critique your instructions, T, and recommend it for all beginners. That's from Cherie. Thank you. So that's it, guys. It's 11 p.m. I'm kind of tired, but I know I ain't gonna fall asleep, so I'm just gonna go prop myself in bed. Maybe put in, I got a friend that gave me videos, one of the PBS series. I've watched, I hadn't seen the Downton Abbey, the movie, but I've seen all the PBS series. But she gave me all of those as well as the movie, so I've already watched the movie. And I actually did that while I was sewing in here. So that's why the bag is in here. But she also gave me the series on Victoria. That's a PBS series. And then she told me, you're not going to be able to sew while you watch this. You need to pay attention. So I have been holding off watching these. So maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll take this into my bedroom and start watching these. But I enjoyed the Downton Abbey series. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was kind of cute that the butlers, well, I'm not going to talk about it because if somebody hasn't watched it yet. But I do like the movie, okay? I actually love the series. I love the series more than I like the movie. But I'm so sad that Downton Abbey is not still something that's ongoing. I just love that series. So, but I'm going to start watching Victoria. So if any of you all have seen it, just keep it. Don't tell me. Because I'm going to start watching it now. So, but thanks everybody. Stay blessed and stay safe. And remember, on Wednesday will be the drawing for the quilt top. Also, possibly some other drawings in the chat room as well. Okay? So, thank you all so much. And I will see you on Wednesdays. And hopefully, I'll have a video out Monday or Tuesday on this part 3 and 4 of this string quilt. That's my goal tomorrow, trying to get some editing done. Okay? Bye. Take care, everybody. Bye, my brother Ray. I'm surprised you still hang in here with us, but that is really sweet of you. Thank you so much.